everyone, welcome to my second month completion of my no buy year. So how did January go? I'm technically recording this on the 29th, but this is going to go up on the 1st, just because I don't think I'm gonna have time to record it and because we're just a couple days away. So January was an interesting month. I got my hair like mutilated. It was not planned, but at least it's really healthy, and yeah, that's all I can say. I'm still not used to it. So if you catch me staring at it or playing with it, is because I just haven't had this short of hair since I was like 12 years old, when I used to be like super obsessed with like cutting my hair and such, because I have a lot of hair. So yeah. January was interesting. I definitely had like really strong temptations to buy, and I have a little sticky note with all my points that I want to talk about. And first off is I almost broke my no buy, and I almost validated it. And it's because I finally got into college. Woo! I technically should have graduated last year in 2018 in the summer, had I gone to a four-year university right after high school and done the whole 4 years. I started off at a junior college because we just couldn't afford a university, frankly. And then I started working, and I got really involved in working, and I got kind of sucked into it, but I still wasn't making enough to like afford it. And yes, there is financial aid and all of that stuff, but I don't know, I just got too sucked into working, and I was like, I finally had money to do stuff, because bless my parents, they try to give me everything that they could, but you know, I don't know how to say it. They tried to give me everything that they could, and it was enough, but sometimes what they could give wasn't enough. So like I got accepted into like 4-year universities, and we just didn't want to take out a loan and stuff because they were in debt at the time. So I just said, okay, I'll go to like a junior college, and then I'll transfer. And then I kind of messed up, and I was ashamed. So then I started all over at a second college, and then I traveled, so I had to take like a hiatus from school because I was just getting really burnt out and working full-time in school, and like a weird like sleep schedule didn't work out either. But I finally am prioritizing school, and I actually got into a university. It's like a preliminary, I think what they said, acceptance. So it's like, as long as I have all the requirements done and sent in, then I can go, which is really exciting. So I almost broke it, and not necessarily because I got in, it's because I have been rejected so many times in the last year and a half. Every school I've applied to so far, I've gotten rejected, so that was really hard on my morale. Especially because I really wanted to get done, and I would see everybody else that I went to high school with like getting it done, and it was hard because nobody wanted me in a way. I am a biology major, so it is an impacted major, which means everyone is trying to get into the school for it, so you have to have like the very best of the best grades. And I had good grades. I had okay, like good grades, but not enough to compete with everyone else. And I was only applying to like really competitive schools, and I had this idea in my head that I was like, I only want to go to this school, like I don't want to go to like a state school or something like that. And after getting rejected so many times, I was like, you know what, I just had to take my chances. I'm gonna apply everywhere. I can't be picky when it comes to school, and it looks like I finally got accepted. I'm really scared to put that out there because I'm afraid like I'm gonna jinx it and something's gonna happen, and they're gonna be like, oh, we revoke like your preliminary acceptance and stuff. But you know, if it wasn't meant to be, then it wasn't meant to be, and I finally accepted that. But as of right now, I did get accepted, and because I've been through such a rough year, I kid you not, when I read the acceptance, I had just woken up, I read it, and I literally start crying like my eyes out because I had just been, you know, after being rejected so many times and then finally getting a yes is like really emotional. So I almost broke my Novi because I almost bought myself some Chanel earrings, I'm not gonna lie. And I was like almost gonna click like add to cart, payment, checkout, but then I was like, you can't throw this all away because of this. Like, yes, it's been a rough year, but you can't, A, break your Novi. I know that you're really happy, but you can't do it for that. And then the second realization was, well, crap, now I have to like find a way to pay for school. And like, yeah, there's loans and financial aid, but I don't think buying like a $500 pair of Chanel earrings is really gonna help me in regards to like affording school. So that's how I almost broke my Novi, and it is the reason why I really can't break it now. I am really gonna cut back every spending. So I know that this Novi year is like just materialistic things, but I'm also going to be cutting back a lot more. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to save $15,000 this year to buy a car. I don't know if I'm going to be able to save for the Chanel bag that I wanted. I don't know if I'm going to be able to go on a trip this year, because all of that is being thrown out of perspective, because now my main concern and my main issue is saving money to pay for school so I don't have to be in as much debt, if that makes sense. So it's funny how everything is changing now, and now I'm like, I could see the Chanel bag like leaving my grasp. So that is kind of where I'm at, and I'm really happy that it's kind of where I'm at in that regards, because you don't know how like awaited it was to like finally get accepted into school. And I'm getting a little bit emotional because it's been really rough. Let me pause this. Okay, so I think I'm a little more like put together right now. So first things first, I want to say is that I'm no longer going to Coachella, which is something that I think I mentioned in my introduction of my Novi year, saying that I wasn't going to buy outfits for Coachella because I don't want to bring outfits in. And I'm not going to lie to you and say that this decision is what prompted to me to decide to sell my tickets, if that makes sense. Like, getting into school and meaning that I have to save money is not the reason why I decided to sell my Coachella tickets. So I could say that and be like, oh, look at me, I'm being so responsible, but that decision was made prior to getting accepted into school. So, and it's actually something I wanted to talk about in my first update, but it's just something that I missed because I just went off by like my thoughts and I didn't actually write down what I wanted to talk about. So I'm kind of a little jittery because I'm having coffee as we speak, because I haven't been used to being awake for like a full day span, which is something that I think I'll talk about in like a get ready with me. But so me and my boyfriend and I, proper English, you're a future college student. So we decided to go to Coachella for a second time this year, and he doesn't work. His parents kind of pay for him to do things because they just want his main focus to be school, and that is a luxury that he's had. It's not a luxury that I've had, of course. I've had to work to afford what I have, because I try, now that I'm an adult and now that I've been working, I try not to rely on my parents that much, just because they still have like their own expenses if they want to save up to buy a house. So since I work, I try not to ask for help. I mean, they do pay for my insurance and like my phone bill, like my car insurance and my medical insurance, so I really don't ask for any extra money because it's already nice that they do that. So I could afford Coachella because I work. Him, on the other hand, we had already bought the tickets. I had actually paid for his tickets because every Christmas he gets like a large amount of money, and just from family, because he has bougie ass family members. And that's all I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna really get into it because I don't think he would appreciate me like getting super into it. So he was like, oh, I'll just, when Christmas comes, I'll pay you back for the money for the ticket. And I was like, okay, like that's fine, like boyfriend of 3 years, like whatever. And so after Christmas happened, he was like, I want to say something, but I think you're gonna get mad at me. And I was just like, well, you're gonna have to tell me anyways, so why don't you just tell me and then we'll see how I react. And he says, I don't want to go to Coachella anymore because I don't want to pay the amount you have to pay. And Coachella can be really expensive. Between finding a place to live, your outfits, and your tickets, you can easily spend like $1,000 to $1,200, especially because like we wouldn't be going in a big group, it would just be us two, so we'd be paying a lot of money to just stay in like a hotel or an Airbnb or anything. And that's how much it cost last year, and we still had a bigger group than last year, so he didn't want to pay for it. And I told him, honestly, I was kind of thinking like, wow, I could do so much more with the whole cost of what it costs to go to Coachella, because last year I easily spent $1,200 between the ticket, the outfits, and the food, and taking time off of work, and blah 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 blah. So I was just like, honestly, I was having the same thoughts, but because I can afford to go to Coachella, like I was like, okay, like I don't mind spending it, but I personally would rather do so much more with the money, because, you know, I was trying to save up for a Chanel bag, and I was like, that could go to a Chanel bag. So we ended up selling our tickets. We put them on StubHub, I think, and we didn't care so much about making a profit out of them. We just didn't want the stress of like, oh my god, are these tickets gonna sell? Like, are we gonna have people to sell them to, or are we just gonna lose money? And then we either have to go and spend money or lose out on the money, which was still stressful. So when I posted it on StubHub, like I think originally, like I put them like kind of at the time when I had put them, I think it was the day that they went like on public sale. Everyone was like posting their tickets for around like $600, so I just put it there. And then as time went on, like people like added more listings and they did it for cheaper. So like we might have been like, if somebody went onto StubHub and like started buying like the cheapest ticket, like we were around like 20 or 25 like listing. So I was like, I'd rather just lower it and know that I'm gonna sell it, and then like waiting around and be like, okay, what if no one buys them, and then we have it. So I think I ended up lowering it to like where they ended up selling for $4.95 and the ticket costs for $30. So I guess we made a little bit of a profit there because it was 2 tickets. So yeah, so I ended up selling them. Yeah. So we're not gonna go to Coachella because it costs too much, and honestly the lineup, like I'm already going to the Ariana Grande concert, so do I really need to see her at Coachella? No. And then like, yeah, there was good people like that were going, but it wasn't anybody that really was like, oh my gosh, I have to go, like last year's lineup when they had like Beyonce, Eminem, and The Weeknd. It was more pop based, and I'm a more pop listener, so I'm already seeing Ariana Grande, so it's like, and she's like my bae, she is my wifey type of situation. So I didn't really like was excited to go. Like one of the days I was like, I have nobody I want to watch one of the days. So yeah, it was for the best to sell the tickets. Ironically, that weekend we had weekend 1 tickets. Weekend 1 is the same day as Dapper Day at Disneyland, and we already have passes, so we were like, why don't we just do that instead? And it's gonna be, I think that would be much more fun, and we don't have to like spend really like much money in comparison. So that's what we're gonna do instead, so I don't have to see all of the posts about Coachella. And yeah, so that was a very responsible thing to do prior and post finding out about college. And they've already sold, so I don't have to stress out about it. So that is one less thing on my shoulder. The other thing is that I've kind of mentioned along the way is that I would have anxiety if I had to leave this room and have to like pack everything up, which is potentially what will happen if everything works out, finger crossed, with going to school, because I can't bring all of this to a apartment or to a dorm or whatever it's gonna be. I just have way too many things, so now I really have to start like either selling stuff on Poshmark or decluttering stuff. And I'm a little stressed out because I know I could put some stuff like at my parents' house in Arizona, but I know the second I leave here, like the same thing is gonna happen. My grandparents are gonna try to put like an exchange student, so I have to leave with everything. So I have started to list more things on Poshmark, which I'm going to put my Poshmark here. And I'm even getting rid of like a couple of Bath & Body Works things because I know there's no way in heck that, first of all, I can't use candles wherever I'm going. So I think I have 2 candles listed. Those are the 2 that I've been willing so far to like part with. And then I'm gonna see if I can like burn through the rest of them, but we'll see what happens. Lotions and shower gels and sprays, I'm okay with moving around. But in regards to like my clothes, I really have to like sell a lot of things, get rid of a lot of things. So I'm gonna start being more active on my Poshmark because essentially I would start school in August, at the end of August. So I have until then to really minimize what I have. And I'm really glad I started doing this last year, because if I would have everything that I had last year plus this, and then I had this thing coming up, or potential thing coming up, like I'd be freaking out. But I think I've been doing a pretty good job so far in getting rid of things. So yeah, I started a wish list though. Let me just grab it. Oh man, it has my lashes on them. Just ignore that there's a lash on here. I have started a wish list for 2019 of things I would like to get when my no buy is over, but it's gonna be a tentative wish list because I don't know where I'm gonna be at December 1st of 2019. Oh, and the one thing I wanted to say in regards to school is that I know some people might like murder me for this, but because essentially it would be like my last stretch, like all my major like upper divisions, if I go to school, that I'd be taking classes for, if that makes sense. And they're hard classes, like the upper division biology classes. There's so many I have to take. It's quite scary. And knowing myself, like I'm not gonna work if I go to school. I'm not gonna work for the remainder of the 2 years that I am in school. And I've talked this out. I've had plenty of time to think about it, and I think it's in my favor in regards to like grades wise and school wise, and making sure I finish strong, that I just don't work. So everything I make from now until I have to stop working because school starts or whatever is what I potentially am going to live off of my last 2 years of school. And that's kind of scary to think about, because that means I would have to heavily rely on either financial aid, student loans, and my parents' help in regards to school. And I'm hoping that this year of the my no buy year, really makes me stop spending and keeps me that way, so I don't blow through whatever I make from here to now. And I think if I just really only did like essentials, like if I only bought like food, or like if I ran out of shampoo, I think I could possibly, and like gas for my car, I think I can possibly live off of that. But in order to help that, again, selling my clothes is gonna help, selling what I have so I can make that last, as well as I just got monetized on YouTube. I had been like monetized since like October, November-ish. I think it was back in October, but like ads weren't playing, so I wasn't making any revenue. And I finally sat down like in January and like figured that out, and I think ads are finally starting to play because there's finally like you just made $1, and I'm like, woo, yes! So I'm really hoping that that will also potentially happen in the future. I mean, you don't make that much money off of YouTube, but if it means that I get like a little check for like groceries when I'm not having any income, if like that is gonna help me. So if you want to help me out that way, just sit through the ad. Just sit through half of the ad if you can skip it. That's usually how I think people, like, from what I've understood, I think that's how like revenue works when it comes to ads. Like if you either click on it, and I'm not asking you to click on it, but if you would like to help me in regards to school and all of that stuff, like you just have to sit through, like if it's a long ad, I think you just have to sit through half of it and then you can skip it, or if it's like a survey, you just have to answer it, and if it's a short one, then you just sit through it. But yeah, if you'd like to help me, I'd really appreciate if you just would sit through the ad and that's it. You don't have to, I'm not forcing you to, but yeah, I hope I could really say that without really getting in trouble. But I'm just being honest with you because your girl has to like scrap every penny she can get, and it might be hard to like go from making money to like not being able to get anything, but I know it's for the better and it's for my future, and I just have to think about it. I just have to go through that, get my degree, get a real salary job, and then I can buy myself a Chanel bag. So I hope you learned something through this insightful ramble. Thank you so much for sitting through it if you did, and thank you so much for tuning in to watch me and see how I'm doing. It really means a lot to me that there's people that actually like listening to me talk. I love you guys. I wouldn't like be here if nobody really enjoyed what I had to say. So thank you so much, and I will see you guys all in my next video. Bye.